Thanks for buying a Indy 500 DIY balloon garland kit. In your kit, you're going to find an 18-inch round foil that's checkered, 6 pieces that are going to make up your starburst balloon, 2 command hooks, 3 sticky strips, some rubber bands, some stretchy balloons, and then an assortment of black and white 11-inch and 5-inch balloons. If you are choosing to pump with a hand pump, it's going to be helpful to have a friend help you hold the balloons. You're going to need to blow up 2 and then tie them together. You're going to hold them in front of you, create an X, wrap one of the nozzles all the way around, and then create a loop and tie the ends of the balloons much like you would your shoelace. And then you're going to do this with all the rest of your balloons. If you have an electric pump, it's going to go a little faster. I like to let some air out of them so that they look nice and round. Cross them in front of you. To tie together, you're going to wrap around, make a circle, and tie it much as you would your shoelace. Do this with all of your 11-inch balloons, tying the whites with the whites and the blacks with the blacks. To create a quad, you're going to tie 2 sets of 2 together. You're really just twisting them around each other until it makes a nice X there. Once you have all of your balloons in 2 quads, you're going to create a larger cluster of 8. So you're going to take your 2 quads, you're going to do much the same thing and wrap the necks around each other until they create a cluster. When you inflate your 5-inch balloons, you're going to put them in quads as well of the same colors. And here we are attaching a rubber band so that we can put it on our garland later. This is a stretchy balloon that we use to put our clusters of 8 together. I tie the end to keep all the air out. It makes it easier to work with. Style number 1 of tying your clusters together is to just take your stretchy band, tie one end to cluster number 1, make a nice secure double knot, and then you're going to hold your clusters close together. Stretch that stretchy balloon out as far as you can. And then in a figure 8 pattern, you're going to wind it around balloons in each cluster until they have a nice secure feel. When you get as much stretch as you can out of that balloon, you're going to take the end and you can either tie it back to itself or you can tie it to the nozzle of a balloon nearby. In this way, we can tie all of our clusters of 8 together. If you prefer a different style, this is style number 2 of tying your clusters together. You're going to take your stretchy balloon and put it in a circle and tie it to itself so that it creates a type of rubber band. Take this and you're going to wrap it around a balloon on cluster number 1, and then you're going to wrap the other end around a balloon on cluster number 2, and this will create a garland in much the same way that style number 1 did. So we're going to put cluster after cluster together in this way until we have all 5 clusters in our garland. Next up, we're going to inflate our foil balloons. These are self-sealing balloons, so once you have inflated them, you don't need to tie them. They will just hold the air in on their own. You can inflate them with a hand pump or with an electric pump. The starburst balloon comes in 6 pieces. After you've inflated each of the pieces, you'll notice the little ties on the end. You're going to crisscross these and tie them like I showed you with the latex balloons, and then tie the ends like that, like you would a shoelace, into groups of 2. Once you have tied all 3 of your groups of 2 together, we're going to wrap them around each other. Holding them in an X, you can move them around each other, twisting until they're secure. Do that with the third one and you have yourself a starburst balloon. To create an attachment point, we're going to take a rubber band stretched around one or two of the pieces of the starburst balloon. Next, we're going to tape down that tie end of our round foil to make it look a little bit more finished. You're going to need some Scotch tape or some packing tape on hand for that. We're creating an attachment point for our round balloon. Using some Scotch tape or some packing tape, you're going to take one of your rubber bands and tape it to the back of the balloon. I like to add two little extra pieces to the end, creating kind of an H, a letter H or a letter I, to make sure that the ends of the tape are good and secure. All right, now we have our garland is all put together, and we're going to add on our 5-inch balloons that we put in clusters of 4. We're going to put matching colors on matching colors until we have all of them on there. And then next we get to add our foil balloons, the fun pops of race checkered flag. Going to stretch that rubber band around, and then you can move your foil balloon around until it looks just how you want it to. Do the same thing with your starburst balloon. Take your rubber band, put it around one of the balloons in your garland, and move it around until you like it. There you go. Your garland is ready to hang. In this part of the video, we're going to show you how to put your garland on a command hook. So if you're using the command hooks provided, make sure you give yourself about 10 minutes after you hang them up so that they can adhere to the wall properly before you start tying things to them. In style number 1 of tying to the command hook, I take one of the ends of a stretchy balloon, tie it to the hook of the command hook, leaving yourself a long tail so you can wind it around the garland. When you get the garland up there, you're going to stretch the long end of the stretchy balloon around it in a figure 8 pattern like we did before. Wind it around in a figure 8 pattern until you feel like it is good and secure. And then you should be able to let go and it should stay. The balloon will hold itself there. Style number 2 of attaching it to the command hook is to create a circle loop with your stretchy balloon band. And then you can use that loop to go around one or two of the balloons in your garland. And then you should just be able to hook it right on that command hook and then let go. Other things you could tie your garland to would be a stair banister or a curtain rod or other attachment points. Once you have it up there, you can move those balloons around until it looks exactly how you want it. And then you can enjoy your race themed balloon garland. Thanks so much.